Hello, my name is Dracattack, and this is Plus Profile number 41. A Plus Profile is where I take people interested in the upcoming MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and I interview them and I find out their MMORPG stories and what they like, what they like to eat. So today we have Reallax. He reached out to me through Discord. I didn't know him before this, but I'm excited to get to know him more, and I hope you are too. Onward and upward. What will your name be for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I'm gonna go with Reallax.
What race class combination are you going to play for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I'm gonna go with a Gnome Enchanter. I know there's some benefits a gnome has with magic and stuff, but I also actually really like this design of gnomes in the game. It is really cool to me. The glowing like power source or whatever, and I don't know, it kind of gives me like a mechanical feel, but also like some kind of like magical like race at the same time.
How did you hear about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I believe it was through a subreddit, the MMORPG subreddit, around the time that the Kickstarter came out for it. I didn't back it at the time, but I basically kept my eye on it ever since then, just because I was like, okay, I kind of missed out on like the early MMOs. I got into MMOs late, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and it's different from the MMOs that are coming out today. So I'll just keep my eye on this and see where it goes.
What feature are you currently most looking forward to in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
Oh, there's too many. But I'll go with the perception system. I think it's cool that, by interacting and exploring the world, you can get some information or, interact with NPCs that will lead you on to a different experience than other players, and then just getting whatever you unlock, by exploring, or, your decisions in the game, can change the way it's presented to you. And I think that's really cool, and I feel like that's a hard thing to do in an MMO. I don't think you see that very often.
Do you have a guild for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I'm undecided right now on any guilds.
What is your favorite MMORPG that is not Pantheon, and what did you like about it most?
I would say currently Final Fantasy XIV, but I do have to give a shout out to Allods Online, because that was one of my first MMOs I played, and I just had a really fun time, because it's that first MMO experience, and I was new to MMOs at the time. My cousin got me into them. That was the first one I really sank time into, and it was good for a long time. Like I made a bunch of friends. Every time I logged in to do something, it was just great, like learning new things. Everyone's learning everything together about the game, and I guess I'd say like the community, or just my guild that I was in at the time, is what I liked the most. We talked a lot, always playing, trying to figure out what can we do for our builds, and where can we get better gear, and all, like just helping each other out. It just felt like a family, and I definitely miss that. I don't really get that as much these days.
What is your best MMORPG story?
Going again back to the Allods Online, I used to spend the weekend at my cousin's house, and I would just stay there all weekend. I'd bring my laptop, and we would play together, play Allods together, and it was around the time, I think it's like level 25 or something, you get to this zone, and it's like the first PvP zone called Asitef, and I'm just questing, doing stuff. It's an open PvP, so you can get killed, by higher levels and all that. So I got ganked, and I told my guild that. Some of my guildies came over, and then they ganked that higher level for me. But then that person got their guildies to come over, so it basically kept escalating. And then at some point there was probably like 40 players from each faction it was just like a war. It felt like a war in this like level 25 zone because I got ganked, and it's just like this huge event that happened, and it just felt really wild because again I was new to MMOs at the time, and it was really my first experience with something like that. So it was just really crazy to me, and I still think about it from time to time. Like that was probably the best PvP moment that I had, even though I was like lower level and barely doing anything. I'm just in the back trying not to get killed, like two-shotted or whatever.
Do you like PvP better or PvE better?
These days, I definitely like PvE better. I'm more casual. I don't spend much time gaming as I would like to, and it feels like for PvP you have to be very competitive in most games or in most MMOs, and I kind of don't have the time or patience to get to that point. And PvE just is an easier, casual thing, and I like working with people, you know, as a group together to defeat, you know, a foe. I feel like I get more satisfaction out of that, and I think I'm just gonna keep it that way for now.
Are you main for life or are you an altaholic?
Okay, I'll say main, but those times that you want to get away from people or you don't, you know, want anyone to know that you're online or whatever, I have at least one alt where I can go play that no one knows about and just level them up and just relax.
Do you like crafting? And if so, which kind?
I typically don't because it takes up my playtime. If I do get into crafting, normally it'll be things that will be able to give us like stat buffs or maybe like buff for weapons, kind of like buffs that you like, stat buffs and stuff like that that you can get from crafting, and there's like no other source really, just to get that extra damage or healing, whatever it is, you know, and make sure whatever content you're doing, you're putting like your best effort towards it. And yeah, that's only if I really get into it though.
What is your favorite gaming food and or drink?
All right, so I gotta go with the at-home oven-baked pizza. You know, frozen pizza, you throw it in the oven, but when it comes out, it's so good. And then the drink, if I want to be focused, I'll go with green tea. I like green tea. It keeps me stable and focused on the game if I'm trying to relax.
What is your favorite piece of gaming hardware?
Okay, I gotta give you know, props to the GPUs, because without them, where would we be without gaming? But my favorite one to use is actually my MMO mouse. I have the 12 buttons on the side near my thumb, and ever since I've had it for probably a year or two, and it just is very nice to have.
Do you have any gaming profile or social media links you'd like to share?
I do have my Twitter. I'm not very active on it, but it's Twitter/Reallax, REALLAX _ at the end.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I would say to everyone waiting on Pantheon, don't worry, we'll get there, and we have some games we can play along the way.
When do you think Pantheon Rise of the Fallen will release? Month, day, year?
Alright, I looked this up, right, because I wanted to know the exact day, and I'm going to go with November 17th, 2023. What I meant to say was I wanted to make sure that it was on like on a Friday or the day before a weekend, and so I just had to make sure that like whatever number in 2023 in November, I had to make sure that it was on a Friday. Yeah, not that like the release date was somewhere out there.